You know, people don't talk about enough how scary talking to people is. Like, you're probably like, Sealz, what are you talking about right now? Like, talking is normal. Everybody talks, but everybody don't talk good. You know what I'm saying? And for some people, talking is even scarier than the average person. For some people, it takes courage and strength to talk to people, especially correctly. I have a friend, and I adore her. I love her. We've been friends for decades. She's a great friend, but being real, I have to put her in certain circumstances or a certain role when it comes to my life. Like, I'm a strong believer in placing certain people in specific roles in your life. Just because someone is your best friend or a good friend to you, or even relatives, does not mean they should be a part of 100% of your life, because there are certain strengths they have, and then there are certain weaknesses they have. And I'm sure you heard the saying, I love this person from afar. Like, I can love them from afar. And that's real talk. You have to know your person. You have to know the person, and you got to be realistic with it. So anyway, my friend, when we have conversations, we have pretty good conversations, but she has a tendency to talk about herself and take over the conversation, the majority of the conversation, like always. And it's been this way for decades, for as long as we've been friends. But I still love her. She is not a bad person. But I just know that I can't take certain topics to her. I can't take certain conversations to her because she will not let me talk to her. She will not let me give feedback. She will not let me vent to her because I know she's going to take over the conversation. So this is just one example, but there are certain things that certain people have and the ability they have when it comes to communication. Some people take conversations over, like my friend, and doesn't give me a chance even when I try. Some people do not give receptive energy even when they are listening. It's just their body language is off. Some people are very monotone, so they don't know how to show expression or excitement or emotion in their conversations, even though they mean good. There's a lot of things. But in this video, what I'm going to talk about is what men look for in conversations, but the best ways to pique a man's interest in conversations. The first tip, suggestion, based on the things I've went through, based on the things I've seen, and just based on being a man, that can help pique a man's interest in a conversation, is understanding that productive conversation is a two-way street, not a one-way street. Communication is a two-way street. Why is that? It's not just you talking or someone talking. That's not the whole aspect of communication. The other side of that is listening. The whole concept of communication is talking and listening. Listening and talking. There has to be a healthy balance in order to have a whole sense of conversation. When there is an imbalance, when a person is either doing all the talking and not listening, or doing all the listening and not speaking, that is not healthy communication. Now, there are times where you're listening to a person because you want them to vent. Like they're talking to you because they want someone to vent to. That's a different and specific situation. But I'm talking about in general conversation, general communication, right? All right, just want to get that out the way. So now that you know that productive conversation involves talking and listening, you will understand the importance of balance. So when you bring balance to a conversation with a man, especially a man that you're interested in, a man that you just met, that will set the foundation, the base, to pique his interest, to increase his interest. But you have to set that base first. If he feels like he has no room to talk because you won't let him talk, that will turn a man off. That will turn him away with a high probability, because he's going to pass off judgments about you like, oh man, she's a motor mouth, or she's all about herself, or she doesn't care about the things I care about because she won't let me talk about the things I care about. A whole bunch of things. So you want to give him a chance to express himself because he is just excited to talk about himself to you just as much as you are to him. So you got to give him a chance, all right? Two-way street, never one way. Keep the balance, all right? So the next thing, the next suggestion, tip that I'm going to give you to pique the guy that you're talking to, his interest in the conversation, is to figure out what makes him excited and expound on that, expand it. Say for instance, you're having a conversation and y'all talking about something, I don't know, Game of Thrones or something, or a good show or a good sport, something. Once he shows that excitement in that topic that y'all are talking about, and you have knowledge of that topic, use that knowledge to your advantage. Expand on that. Ask questions. Ask him why he's interested in or like this specific thing. Talk about why you know about this thing and your experience on it, your background on it. Pound on that, because excitement, energy never lies. When someone is excited about something, they're going to show it. Their body language changes. The number of words they say a minute about that topic increases. Their facial expression changes. And most times they just say it. Like, I love this thing that y'all talking about, right? Use that to your advantage. Show that you care. But it's even easier if you like that thing as well. And that leads me to my next suggestion in order to pique a man's interest in conversations. And that is to show and bring up similarities and commonalities. If y'all two are interested in the same thing, in one thing, that is the ultimate and easiest icebreaker. Because you have so much knowledge of this thing, and so does he. So that will just open the floodgates to more conversation, to real conversation. There's no more awkwardness because y'all are talking about something that y'all are both aware of. That's easy. Like, my thing is travel, but specifically travel hacking. So travel hacking is like traveling on points and never have to spend, you know, your hard-earned cash by using credit cards and memberships and stuff like that. I love stuff like that. So if you bring up something like that, traveling, but specifically travel hacking, oh man, I'm going to show my excitement. Like I just showed you my excitement just now. Just thinking about it. That man is going to show you. It's going to be evident. Similarities and commonalities is also a good sign that you guys might have something. The next interesting tip that I'm going to give you on how to pique a man's interest is eye contact. Eye contact. The eyes says words that the mouth cannot speak. Eyes speaks languages. You could tell a lot based on someone's eye contact or lack of. When you show eye contact, consistent eye contact, not psychotic eye contact, one thing the man is going to think is, okay, she's interested in talking to me. The next thing he's going to think is, she's paying attention to me. Another thing he may think is, wow, she has beautiful eyes. Eye contact is chef's kiss. That's why Medusa was such a powerful figure in folklore, because her eye contact was magical. Yes, I know humans don't have the same effect as Medusa, but it does have a similar effect, because when you give eye contact, as they say, you can gaze into someone's soul. There's a power in good eye contact, but it also shows that you're here, right? And that leads me to my next tip that I'm going to give y'all to pique a man's interest in the conversation, and that is be present. Be present. Now, what does being present mean? Being present means being there. And yes, I know you're physically there, but are you really there? Your body can be there, but does not mean your attention is there. It does not mean your interest is showing. You can be somewhere and not be there at the same time. Were you ever in a room with people, but you started like daydreaming or staring into the invisible abyss through the wall? Like, you know that feeling? That feeling is you not being there even though you are amongst a crowd. You have company, but you are not there. A man notices when you are not there, when you are not present. Now, this is one of my pet peeves. Talking to people who are not present, who are not paying attention. And it's obvious, it's evident. One side is that their eyes are looking everywhere else except for the person they're talking to. Another side is they are not responding to what you're saying. You ask them a question and they don't even answer the question because they do not hear you, because they are not there. They are not present. They're not giving you feedback. Those are all signs of someone who is not present. You don't want to not be present, because that will leave a bad impression on you. Another thing I want to tell you that you have to remember. I want you to remember this. A great way to keep or pique a man's interest in conversation is to leave him with a little mystery, because curiosity is led by wonder. There is no curiosity without wonder. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. You just meet someone, you're excited to meet them, they're excited to meet you, your adrenaline is racing, your heart's racing, and you start talking to them and you tell them everything about yourself. You leave no mystery. You leave no wonder. That man that you're with can literally leave your conversation thinking like, dang, I know everything about her now. You don't want that. Moderate mystery is a good thing, because it keeps the man wanting more. And I can speak this for myself, because I do not want to know more of something that I feel like I know everything of. You don't want that guy to feel that. So throw some things out there, but do not throw everything out there. It's all good to throw a few flowers out there, but do not pick up your whole garden and give it to him. You feel where I'm going with this? All right, leave some mystery so that it encourages him, if he's truly interested in you, to want to know more. And a bonus suggestion, this is different, interesting, but crucial. A good tip I want you to know is to smell good. The sense of smell is super powerful, one of the most powerful senses there is. If you're talking to a man, he smells you and it reminds him of something good in his life, or he just loves the fragrance, and while you're talking, he's just inhaling real deeply. try to take it all in because you smell that good, that is a great way to pique a man's interest in conversation, because you have him hooked in physically. He doesn't want to leave. He does not want to exit this conversation, because that smell, in addition to the conversation, is just a sensory overload, just a bag of goodness. He loves being here. You want that. So that's a tip. It's not a must, but it's a bonus. I'm telling you, it works. All right, so thank you for coming to my video on the best ways to keep a man's interest or pique a man's interest in conversation. And your guy Sealz the Man will see you on my next video. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.